Never let anybody see you sweat.
So I was born in New York City, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. I realized that I was a much better talker than I was a listener. I don't know what to say, I just don't like what you're saying.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I ended up going to law school at Georgetown, and I was a prosecutor for Janet Reno. I loved it because it was so raw. Were you cheating on her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All rise.
Our show will be a mixture of education, I think you're misreading the law a little bit, and entertainment. My main goal is justice and the law. That's been my legacy, and the legacy I hope to continue into the future with the show.
Myra King claims her landlord did nothing about the moldy smell in her apartment that made her sick. Aaron Patel says he offered to rent a room for Miss King while mold outside her door was removed, but she refused.
Okay, Ms. King, you're suing Mr. Patel, your landlord, for $3,499 for mold remediation in your apartment.
That's
Talk
correct.
to me, what happened here?
Basically, he keeps ignoring the fact that I have mold in my apartment, calling me crazy and saying that it's not there. But I've been smelling it ever since the rains happened a year ago when he had to fix the stairway outside, but there's mold in my apartment.
Okay, I have a question for you. How long have you been living there?
5 years, Your Honor.
Okay, and the problem happened starting a year ago?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because there were some heavy rains.
Correct.
Did you do anything like have her apartment tested?
Yes, Your Honor. This is a bogus big
You had her
business
apartment tested?
I did not, but I had my contractor fix everything that was wrong
with the steps on the outside?
Yes.
Did you have your contractor go to her apartment?
Yes, he did
Okay,
take a look.
Stop. I'm not asking about the steps. Did you have the contractor, did you have anybody go to her apartment to see if there was a mold problem in her apartment?
Not into her apartment. It's just a stable that was impacted.
Right, but she kept saying there was mold in her apartment. So as a homeowner, don't you want to know and stop mold before it destroys your place? So wouldn't you send somebody out there to look at it?
Yeah, but she already got someone there. She had an inspector come in without my permission to do a mold
Before
inspection.
or after she complained to you?
After she complained to me.
So how quickly did she get someone there?
It was after I fixed the problem that she went and hired somebody
Okay, so
because she was still
clearly you gave him the complaint and he did nothing about it.
Exactly.
All right, now, you hire people to come, and do you have a mold remediation report?
I do. I paid $400 out of my own.
That's an invoice. Do you have a mold remediation report stating that there is mold in your apartment?
No, ma'am. No, but they did
Well, didn't
say-
they do the test? Because that's what they do.
Yes, and they said that there was not evidence that it was there, but the fact that you could smell
Wait,
it
stop.
was...
So they did a test and they found no mold?
They found no traceable amount.
And then they said to you what? But we can smell it, so you should pay us a bunch of money.
They said that because we could smell it, there was evidence that there was mold in
Why are
the
you
air.
looking at him? He's not going to make the decision. Talk to me. They could what?
That there was evidence that it was probably in the air.
There's a stairwell. The stairwell definitely has mold.
Yes.
How long did it take him to fix the stairwell?
About 2 weeks is when he started to fix the stairwell. But
All right.
it took months
And
to
the
fix
starting part is the important part because that's when they rip out the moldy stuff.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right. And then you paid somebody $3,499 to do what? What did they do to your place?
Well, I paid differing amounts, but I'm suing him for that amount because I did pay all of that at once.
So
But
how do you come up with that figure? Tell me the different things.
the week of work that I missed, the $400 that I had to pay to have the air quality tested, the purifier and dehumidifier that they recommended that I get because of the scent of mold that was obviously in the air, and the doctors, all of the doctors' bills that I had to pay because of the nausea and the headaches caused from the mold.
Okay.
So all of that amounts to the $34.99 that I
Okay, let me see
for negligence.
doctor bills that you had.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is that it?
So what is it you had to pay to get the stairs fixed?
I paid about $4,500. I'm known to take immediate action, be very proactive. I own several properties. This is just one of them. And, I have been very concerned that this gets fixed as soon as possible.
Well, I know, but I'm a landlord. I've been a tenant and I am a landlord now. And the first thing I would do if somebody told me I think there's mold in my apartment is send somebody to find out. But you say she had already done that. Did she tell you that they didn't detect mold?
No,
Because if I'm you and it's my property, I want to see what the report says.
No, the mold report was done after the fact. I had my contractor go there within 2 weeks. I mean, he went there.
Did
to
the contractor go into her apartment?
No, it was not.
Then don't keep telling me about me pica aquí, me raca aquí. It itches me here and you're scratching me here. Pay attention to my question. Don't you want to make sure there's no mold in her apartment? Why wouldn't you want either to send a mold remediation person there to do an air test or get the results of her air test?
Because my contractor was there and he looked at the stairwell and he didn't think there was anything to do with the
How
main
would your
house.
contractor know from looking at, okay, clearly you have never had a relationship with mold. I have had a very intimate relationship with mold. I live in South Florida, which is probably the mold capital of the world, okay? What I don't understand is why you would not want to have the results of that test.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
You don't have any pictures of mold, right?
No, Your Honor. I just have the receipts and invoices that
Right.
I feel I should not have.
And you have a report you didn't bring me that says no mold. No
They did not
detectable
give
mold.
me a report, no.
Okay.
And later,
When you were, it was a long dress. That's what you purchased, a beautiful
Correct.
long dress, and then she shortened it. I take it she did not ask your permission to do that.
No, she did not.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Myra King, who blames her landlord, Aaron Patel, for a moldy situation in her apartment.
You know there's mold 10 feet from her door, and then she says, I smell the mold in my apartment. And then you say, don't worry about it, it's probably coming from the stairs. And then they do a test, and it's probably coming from the stairs because it wasn't detectable in her apartment. So basically what we have, I'm just saying, as a landlord, I don't understand how you don't go to the apartment, smell it yourself, look at it yourself, say, have you seen mold? Show me the mold. You don't have any pictures of mold, right?
No, Your Honor. I just have the receipts and invoices that
Right.
I feel I should not have.
And you have a report you didn't bring me that says no mold. No
They did not
detectable
give me
mold.
a report, no.
Okay. Oh, they didn't give you a report, but you're telling me they told you no detectable mold. These are the pictures of everything you did with the stairs. How close is that to her door?
It's, as you can see, this is the entrance, this is the stairwell, and there's water damage to the ceiling of the
I
stairwell.
got it. How close is that to her door?
This is the door, and this is the stairwell.
How is she getting in and out of the apartment?
Well, she used a fire entrance from the back of the
emergency
building.
back.
But then I offered to pay her, to rent a room for a week when all this was going on. I got on this as fast as
So
possible.
you offered for her to rent her a place to stay elsewhere.
Yes, and she didn't take it.
And why didn't you take that?
Because he's been trying to get me out of this apartment for years.
I've
because he
never
wants
done
to
that,
put somebody
ma'am.
else in there to charge
is
more
this a
money.
rent-controlled apartment?
Yes.
Okay, and
I've never done that because I have been reducing her rent so that she can afford it.
has he ever reduced your rent?
Yes.
He's given a bunch of us a little bit of a discount. This
Not
is
a little
true.
bit.
But anytime there's an issue, he takes
It's
forever to
$200
get out
a
there to
month.
solve it. Sometimes not even to solve it. And I think it's because
Do you
he
have any
wants me
evidence of
out.
that?
It's $1,700
Hold
a
on,
month.
stop a second, stop a second.
rent.
Do you have any evidence of anything you just said?
Not that I brought with me, Your Honor.
Okay,
no.
well now would be the time because now's when I'm wearing the black dress and trying to make a decision, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I've been very proactive, ma'am. I have a great home warranty company. I have a list of contractors that have worked on me with me because I own so many
having said all
properties.
that, I hear everything you're saying. What I'm telling you is that as a landlord, when a tenant tells you I smell mold in my apartment, step one is for you to go to the apartment. If you can't go because you're too busy, then you send someone, preferably someone with experience, to test the air level. Like you actually pay the money to get the air level tested. And you tell them, if you've gone and you don't smell it, but they're smelling it, then you tell them, hey, I'm not smelling it. I'm going to get a test, but if the test says negative, you're going to pay the test. Come to some agreement, do something. In this case, you have admitted to me that you did absolutely nothing. And the question then is, does that mean that you have to pay her all this money she's asking for? Or is that just a sign of, hey, you should do better as a landlord for your own sake? That's what I'm saying. You should do better as a landlord for your own sake because mold is like a cancer. You need to address it or it grows, you see? You can't just tapar el sol con un dedo, cover the sunshine with one finger and say there's no sunshine. That's not how it works. You have to address it. Having said all that, don't get too excited because the report was there was no mold. And if he offered you a place to stay temporarily while he's remediating the stairwell within weeks of the rains, then you don't take it because you're afraid he's going to change the locks on you, which you can't do. You're afraid you're not going to be able to get back in there. And then you're complaining that the air quality was bad and the steps around there.
Yes, but it's like you said, he didn't do anything. I'm suing him for negligence because I'm not even the one who had to do
that's not a duty he owes to you. I'm talking about what I think he should do as a landlord to protect his own interests. That's not a duty he owes to you. You literally have nothing to pin against him other than that there's mold on the steps, and he took care of it as soon as he could. I mean, they were on it a week later, and he even offered for you to live somewhere else. Has she been difficult with you always?
She's always been complaining about. I mean, the other day the light went out, the bulb went out, and she's blaming the electrical, the wiring there.
And then it turned out to be a bulb?
It was just a bulb. I have a home warranty.
Let me just suggest to you that you should document. Let me tell you how you should do it. If you have a home warranty company, do they let her call them, or you have to call them?
No, I call them. I have a log of all the calls
That's what
that
I'm
have been
saying.
on.
You better keep a log.
Yes.
Right.
It's there.
Okay.
And this was one more. This was not done by the home warranty, but my contractor, he's licensed in the state of California. And, 2 weeks to get the whole thing fixed.
No, that's good.
That was...
Yeah. No, that was very fast. I'm not going to rule in your favor on any of this. You had the test done, and if there had been mold, and he does nothing, then, all of these, I can't breathe, I have migraines. Nothing in that billing statement says they're due to a mold allergy or anything else. It just says you got IV drip therapy for migraines. Had you been getting that before the rains? Okay. So your proof just isn't there for you to suggest he did something wrong by not fixing the mold in your apartment that your mold people told you they can't detect. You see? You've got literally nothing on it. And he said, well, if you're having headaches and you're complaining, I'll get you an apartment, I'll rent you a place to stay, and you detect that as meaning that he's going to throw you out, which you can't. You admit he offered you that and you didn't take him up on it. So if you really did have headaches from the stairs that you weren't using because you were using another stairs, then, kind of doesn't sound like that's his fault either. Verdict for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
You can't make bogus claims. I think justice was served here.
I think it's absolutely not fair, and you're getting rewarded again for doing nothing.
Coming up.
You made it from what she had, which is like a gala long dress, and now she doesn't have that dress anymore. If she has any galas at college, she can't go home and get that dress.
This isn't even something I would ever wear. This is like what you wear.
You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. April Astor claims her half-sister needs to pay up for taking scissors to her prom dress, make it her own, instead of buying her own attire. Mia Astor says the dress collected dust in the plaintiff's closet for 2 years, so no harm, no foul.
April Astor, you are suing your half-sister Mia Astor for $480 that you say she has damaged you because she altered one of your dresses without your permission. All right, what happened here?
My sister and I have always had a contentious relationship. She has been the more popular one, the more athletic one, the pretty one. And I've been the smart one. I've worked really, really hard in school. When my senior prom came around, I really wanted to make it a special night for me. So I took the money that I had gotten from my tech internship and spent it on a prom dress. It was $330 with a matching necklace that was $150. So the total was $480. I actually have the receipt.
Do you have a picture of you in the dress?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, let me see that and the receipt. Go ahead.
Thank you.
So go on.
It was a great night. Well, 2 years later, I'm finishing my sophomore year of college, and I see on social media that my sister is wearing a dress that looks an awful lot like the one that I wore to my prom. So
And she's wearing it where, to her prom?
she's wearing it to her prom.
And you're off at college at this point?
Yes.
Okay, and what happens?
I texted and asked her if she was wearing my dress, and it looked different because she had altered it so that it's shorter.
Because when you wore it, let's see the picture up on the board here. When you wore it, it was a long dress. That's what you purchased, the beautiful long dress, and then she shortened it. I take it she did not ask your permission to do that.
No, she did not.
Coming up.
This was a dress she picked out, and it was a long dress, and you made it into a short dress because that's what you wanted.
She has abandoned it for 2 years in her closet at home.
You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of April Astor, who was fighting with her half-sister Mia Astor for altering her prom dress.
Mia, your time to shine, honey.
Yes.
What happened here?
Well, Your Honor, I did borrow my sister's prom dress and got it altered. I did go to the tailor and spent $40 on it, which I had the receipt for.
But why are you going to show me that receipt?
Just because I did add value to the dress.
How did you add value to it? This was a dress she picked out, and it was a long dress, and you made it into a short dress because that's what you wanted.
She has abandoned it for 2 years in her closet at home.
Okay, hold on one second. Stop a second. That's her closet in her room, right?
Yes.
And there's a bunch of other stuff there too, because she's still, that's still home for her. That's her home. It's not yours to take. Why don't you just ask?
I just think, I didn't know it was a big deal for her, and it wasn't, it was like the other dresses that were in her closet.
It was my prom dress.
Okay, it sounds to me
dress.
like if you're sisters, you should know it was going to be a big deal. Okay? But the thing is, like, the default position is it's not yours to take, so you need to ask permission. What is really going on here? Why is there this underlying tension?
I think there's this underlying tension of her jealousy towards me, and she's building it up and putting this pettiness in court, and we didn't even have a mature conversation. She iced me out. I could have talked to her and told her,
well, you could have picked up the phone and talked to her and told her, can I borrow your dress? That's for sure. Let's talk about the dress, because that's what you did. You know, that's the thing that you altered, and there's no going back after you altered it. That is the kind of thing that you ask permission for, you know? I mean, you made it from what she had, which is like a gala long dress, and now she doesn't have that dress anymore. If she has any galas at college, she can't go home and get that dress.
This isn't even something I would ever wear. This is like what you wear.
Judge Milian's verdict when Justice for the People returns. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian.
I think that you guys have like a lot of baggage just here, because you're both lovely women who have a lot going for them, and you're kind of jealous of her, and she's kind of jealous of you. And that's really what's happening. You feel like she's the popular one, and you had one good thing, and then she had to ruin that. And then you feel like you're constantly being held up to, you know, she's in high school, and she's got tech jobs, and she's off to college, and she's doing great, and her grades are great, and I take it your grades are not as great as hers are. So why don't we try this whole sister thing again after this court case is over? Huh? Because the people in your life will come and go. You can't get rid of your sister. You can't. And even if you don't talk to each other, you still can't get rid of her. She's still your sister. All right? Now, the jewelry is not really isn't a subject in this lawsuit. The dress, she absolutely altered it and didn't have a right to alter it. So I'm going to depreciate it by, a fair 50%. That leaves $165. And I am going to order you, Mia, to pay April $165 and give her an apology. Okay? Good luck, folks.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $165.
You know, we really should try taking it back to the way it used to be between us.
I'm glad it worked out, and you are my sister after all.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.